Imagine Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, the best Dragon Ball game in existence, updated with everything we love from Dragon Ball Super and other aspects to make it feel brand new. Sounds crazy? Let me prove to you it's not. Before we get started, let me know what your favorite Dragon Ball game is down below. Maybe I'll change my mind. You know that iconic opening that always plays at the start of BT3? Let me show you this. Now this is the new opening for BT4. Fast pace, straight to the action to get us hyped and ready for this new adventure. To start off our journey, we'll be selecting the Dragon History option, and our first chapter is going to be the Saiyan Saga. Let me be honest, I'm not going to cover the entirety of the usual story. We've been through it enough in our lifetimes, especially me. How many times do I have to describe myself fighting Raccoon? Starting with the Raditz fight, the UI is simple to understand. We got the usual health bar, each color represents the amount of health left. Red being the lowest and the whitish blue health bar that you're seeing here being the highest. This is just a color though, not a strict idea of how much health you actually have. You could literally have 10 health bars of this color. Key bars which are limited to 5 only and can be filled through fighting or charging your key manually. This number next to the key bars is basically your key stock. This number is used when you perform special abilities, fuse, or transform. These are only filled by this blue bar here. Next we have buffs and debuffs, which are shown here as symbols. These could be more attack, defense, and then there's low key charge, or low defense. So let's go back to our older brother Raditz. We're able to notice a few changes within the first minute. The HP bar is already at blue, and his AI is no joke. Like look, I get it, we're at Raditz, he should be a joke, right? You know, start of the Dragon Ball, first major fight. Nah, not here. Every single fight in this story mode is most likely going to require you to be taking it seriously at the start. What I said here is going to be very important later on, especially in the Super Saga. Throughout the fight, I fight Raditz with every fiber in my body and I click those R3s as soon as they pop up. Now look, you can call me scared. The idea in this version is to fight hard. Pause. But as soon as you see the R3 button, you're going to want to press it to begin the next cutscene. Throw your ego in the wind and just press the button, trust me. If not, losing any fight in this story will mean that you'll need to start it all over from the beginning of the fight. There's no checkpoints. You're not obligated to. You can win some fights without skipping to the cutscene. Let me know what you choose to do, because some of these fights are no joke. After a bit of time we finish Raditz, as usual, with Green Uncle's purple drill attack. This is going to lead us up to fighting Nappa and Vegeta in the next chapter. Getting them out of the way, as you know, will lead us to the next saga, the Namekian Saga, and to fight... Are you serious? Hold on, Raccoon is literally the first fucking fight? I'm sorry, look. I'll keep myself composed. It doesn't need to happen here. Then we got the Australian Pepper and his boyfriend, the Moldy Blueberry. The Universe's butt buddy duo. Finishing them off will move us on to the next important fights. The Boy Scouts versus Frieza. While we play as Frieza. My only gripe here is that Frieza starts becoming so damn tall to the point where I can't fight Gohan or Krillin. Anyways, besides that gripe, we're gonna move on to the most iconic fight in anime history, like ever. It's the same as usual, but here's my favorite part of this. Compared to BT3, the OST in this fight is A Hero's Desperation, which was introduced in Budokai 1 in the same exact fight. If I'm to compare this to the original soundtrack for this fight in BT3, it's not as epic as compared to this. Let me know of any DBZ soundtracks that you prefer. I really need to expand my playlist. Moving on from that, the next chapter is going to be the Android Saga. It hits all the high notes, from Vegeta's first final flash to Gohan's iconic transformation. Keeping the intensity up with each fight, I'm not gonna lie. Playing as Cell in the story mode, fighting Krillin was bad for my ego. It gave me way too much aura here. They really do well balancing the power and health dynamic in story mode. For example, Krillin can't do as much damage to me as Cell as I can do to him, especially when it came to Gohan versus the Cell Juniors. Complete washout, no dryer. Moving on to the Majin Buu saga, we got everything in order to do the usual fights. Goku versus Majin Vegeta, Vegeta versus Majin Buu, Vegito versus Super Buu, and finally Goku versus Kid Buu. Do you remember how tough Kid Buu was in BT3? Well, he's even more relentless here. This 25-cent Walmart gumball constantly gets his health back after every single cutscene. And it's a long fight where I have to hold him off as long as I can so that the scripted dialogue is triggered over time. Regardless of how hard this fight was, this also puts me in the same position as Goku and Vegeta. Just one life, fighting this chewed up bubblegum until he eventually dies. Now, at this point, we would normally be done with BT3, but since I did say this included some extra content, this is where BT4 truly shines. We'll be unlocking the Dragon Ball Super Saga. Now this difficulty spike really kicks in, and there's a big obvious difference between BT4 and BT3. BT4 will offer you cutscenes, more dialogue, the fights are more extensive to almost 30 minutes every single fight. The sagas will go through the movies and major arcs in Super at a good pace, and they also give us a pretty straightforward idea of what's actually going on if you've never seen the Super series, or if you just kind of want a quick recap. Starting with Goku vs Beerus, we'll be going through the phases in this fight just like they did in the movie. From Goku earning the power of Super Saiyan God, losing the power of Super Saiyan God, then finally waking up after taking a hit from Beerus' attack. Every single round of this fight is back-to-back action. This is something that I would expect from a AAA developer, but we all know nowadays, just pressing the start button will cost us about $5. Regardless of that, taking out the Naked Cat will move us into the next arc, which is the Resurrection F arc. Just as before, this arc will follow the movie as closely as possible, even to the point where we fight Vegeta as well, all thanks to our main character Goku's fighting greed. Take a second to look around the area and let me know if you noticed something. Did you notice it yet? This is the same area as the area in the movie. Now this is what I'm talking about. We got custom fights, areas, soundtracks from the other Dragon Ball games. I spend straight up 22 minutes fighting Frieza in all of these rounds, to the point where Frieza finally loses to Vegeta and decides to blow up the planet. But obviously we'll go back as Goku and fix Vegeta's mistake in a one quick round. Now that we've been introduced to the Rainbow Gang of Dragon Ball, we're gonna move on to the next arc where we'd go against Universe 6. I would have thought we'd be going through a few of the fights versus Universe 6, such as Vegeta vs Kaba, Piccolo vs Frost, Goku vs Hit, which obviously is here, especially since Vegeta vs Kaba was kind of important to the story, since it's literally another Saiyan in a different universe. But just like I said, we'll only be fighting the legendary assassin, Hit, sorry. Again, if you notice, the arena from these episodes is already integrated within the game. So up to this point, these fights have been extremely fun, considering that the only game at the moment that has any super content, from what I know, is Xenoverse 2, and that's not including Legends and Dokkan. With that out of the way, we'll be moving on to the next arc. A dark new enemy appears. Starting out, we'll be playing as Goku Black, and the goal is to take out the bootleg Trunks. Yes, I said bootleg Trunks. Before you attack me, compare this Trunks to Bojack or Broly Trunks. You let me know which you'd pick first. Obviously this arc will lead us into the Goku vs Black, then a few rounds of Goku and Vegeta vs Black, and Zamasu, and then fuse Zamasu vs Vegito. Literally even with this God Halo thing. After we play as Trunks again and we defeat Zamasu, we're on to the last arc, the Tournament of Power, and just as you know, we'll need to go around and start recruiting everyone, and by everyone, I just mean Gohan, because who really cares about Goku fighting in the forest of walking fart dust with Kuririn or saving dinosaurs for 17? Even with that being said, this fight is literally no joke. It took me so many times to beat Goku as Gohan. He's a savage. I think this is worse than the very hard mode in Versus. We'll skip over a lot of filler and the recruitment episodes, even the Frieza one. That could have been here because that was pretty important, but who am I to say anything about that? I can't make games. But anyways, we'll move on to Goku fighting Cauliflower, the Saiyan with potential who can feel tingling in her ass and just transform to almost Super Saiyan 3 in a few episodes? This is crazy. She's not that much of a tough fight to finish, but it'd be the fight that leads up to fighting Kale, the legendary Super Saiyan. Up to the point where Jiren jumps in, wipes her out in one hit. All that anger just to get washed by the tight bald gray man. After fake Broly gets tossed to the side, we play as Goku to fight against Jiren the Grey. As the strongest being in this universe at this moment, his name, Jiren the Grey? It's such a stupid name, the Grey? Jiren does a lot of damage, and if it wasn't for the cutscenes refilling my health at times, I'd be crashing out. Honestly, we're gonna turn back to Goku as he starts working on his Genki Dama. Sorry. Genki Dama! I'll give Jiren some credit though. At least he's being honest about what he's doing. He's gonna sit back, give Goku a chance to charge the Spirit Bomb. In comparison to characters just watching each other charge up because it's the most anime thing to do. Goku then fires the Spirit Bomb, but it's deflected back and causes damage to Goku instead. This isn't shown as much here, but we have a clear idea of what happened based on the dialogue. As we all know, this moment is going to cause Ultra Instinct Goku to be unleashed. Just as in the anime, we'll start out with fighting Jiren first, up until where Toppo jumps in with his big ass beat meat hands, because Jiren shouldn't be wasting energy on us. Like what is that? Toppo is essentially Jiren's meat holder for when he pees. Once we clear out Toppo a little bit, Jiren's gonna come back to our fight and put Goku down. Then we're able to begin playing as Hit, while he tries to fight off Jiren and using his famous time-stopping freeze technique to stop Jiren in place, and his plan is to literally hold Jiren in place until the timer runs out. But Jiren breaks free of Hit's move and takes him out with one attack. Moving on to the next fight, we'll be fighting Kefla as Ultra Instinct Goku. This fight right here is no joke compared to what we just dealt with. The difficulty spike between the previous fight and this one is huge. Considering that we're getting to the end of the tournament, this is how it's going to be for the next few fights against Toppo and Jiren full power. Toppo is next on the field and we'll be fighting him as 17 and Frieza, while they swap in between each other between dialogues based on what's currently happening in the show. Playing as 17 really isn't that much fun because I'm really used to key charging manually, and considering that Toppo literally just throws flash and key attacks and dash attacks, I can't really do much here. It's just my preference. We'll eventually push Toppo to transform into his God of Destruction form, and Vegeta comes in, already in his okay, hold on, let me get this right. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Evolve. That's so stupid. Ignoring that, let's continue the fight with Toppo, which involves a few combos until I noticed that he really loves spamming his Hakai Blast. I started baiting him into doing it over and over again so I could just beam clash him and get some easy damage on him. It kinda sucks that I had to take this route, but trying to fight this man one-on-one, just fists, while he's doing point blank Hakais to the face, so I had to do what I had to do. Cause like Dom said it best,
it don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
On to the final fight of the series, Jiren the Grey at full power. Here we'll be fighting as Goku and Frieza to take down Jiren. There'll be cutscenes between 17, Frieza, and Goku, but these cutscenes are the best ones in the game, which is great because this is the best fight in the entire tournament. They mirror the anime as to who's fighting Jiren at the moment, all the way to the point where even the final attack is just like the anime. This is way better than anything BT3 has provided to me so far, without the big budget and the big team. Defeating Jiren is going to allow 17 to be the remaining fighter on the stage so he can get his wish granted. With 17 wishing all the universes back to existence, Goku and Vegeta can continue their training and all the universes are back to normal, along with peace returning to Earth. And this concludes the story of Dragon Ball Super. And I have to say, this has been the greatest experience. Oh, there's more? BT3 came with a special saga, where it would include fights from the Dragon Ball movies into this game. The same concept still applies here, but there's only one movie that Dragon Ball Super has, at the time of this updated game, that hasn't been covered in the story yet. Dragon Ball Super Broly. One of my favorite Dragon Ball movies in existence. I watched it 5 times the same week that it came out. I will keep saying this. They ruined Gogeta's hype by announcing him in the trailers and Jump Media. Stop spoiling everything, for God's sakes. Anyways, sorry. Here we'll be fighting Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan of Universe 7. In this fight, we'll start out as Super Saiyan God Vegeta, which looks absolutely stunning. Bringing Broly down to a certain point will then have Goku step in to give it a chance as well. This fight is pretty difficult, but extremely fun. Frieza's eventually going to step in as well as one of the playable characters for some time, while Goku and Vegeta are left to try the fusion technique. After holding Broly off for about 4-ish minutes, Gogeta steps into the light and becomes our new fighter, beating Broly to the point where it will trigger him to unleash his legendary Super Saiyan form. And that will also cause Gogeta to become Super Saiyan Blue, or Gogeta Blue. And this is where the fun really kicks in. Gogeta and Broly in this fight have a good amount of health and key recharge rate to make this a really high pace, high energy, and an extremely fast fight with some tension behind it. Broly's AI doesn't abuse his ki blast attacks, which is great because I really prefer the hand-to-hand fighting, especially since Broly and Gogeta's ki specials cause so much damage, enough to end a fight extremely quickly. And I don't want that here. After some time of fighting Broly, we eventually lead up to the dialogue where Chilai is wishing Broly back to his homeworld of Vampa. But it's not like Broly's gonna disappear in the game, so Gogeta's blast will hit him this time around. That, my friends, is gonna end the story of Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4 for the meantime. But they do have characters from Dragon Ball Super Hero, so I'm hoping for a story update on that one day. Until then, BT4 is treated like BT3 once you're done with the story. You'll get your Dragon Balls, unlock some characters, and items from the 3 Shenrons. Then there's also the Timeless Challenge, but after that, that's all that's really left here until any further updates. What arc or fight did you enjoy most in this game, or even from this video? Is there anything that you change or add? Let me know down below and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!